Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Realms. It's episode 22 I believe, and we're here once again in the realms at my new farming district. And wait a second, what's that behind me? Right, let's go into first person. Ooh, it's a lot of gold and what looks like to be shamrocks, I believe. So I guess this is for St. Patrick's Day. Well, actually, as I'm recording this, is actually the day past St. Patrick's Day, the 18th of March. But I'm guessing that whoever put this in lives in a place where it currently is St. Patrick's Day, so I'm guessing that this is I'm not sure you can call it a prank, just a bit of a fun decoration for all this. I'm going to be 100% certain there's going to be a few more of those around, and I'm right. There's one more over here. I think I'll collect up all the gold, since that's a precious resource which I need, but I think I'll leave the banners lying about for now, and not drop my pickaxe on the ground. So I'll collect all those up. I'll show you all the locations as I go around collecting them all. But this is a really fun prank, I guess. And yes, I've got my rockets back again. I ran out in the last couple of episodes. Where's another one? There it is. Yeah, I ran out of rockets in the last one, so thankfully the roller is now selling them, and I'm now stocking up fully on them. Hey, there we go. Hey, I probably should have spawned here and looked at that. Happy St. Patrick's Day from Sean the Leprechaun. Who is Sean? That's going to be a big mystery, I guess. But so much gold. So much gold. That sign, I'll put it back in there. Banner, I mean. Another one. This is a lot of gold. He must have been either hunting down a whole lot of pigmen or just mined a lot for it. I'm pretty sure there'll be one around here. You can see one just at the end of the road, and there's another one here. Must have been taking a while to take all these stuff as well. Anyway, it's quite a good prank, or whatever it is. I really appreciate it. So happy St. Patrick's Day to those who are around. And I guess it's time for me to get on with the next part of my episodes. Now, since my last clip, 1.10 for Bedrock has now come out, so one of the things that it has is now lanterns, or as this mislabels it, sea lanterns. So one of the things I think I can do is start putting lanterns on top of these little posts up here, and I reckon that will add just that little bit of extra detail where a torch would not look as good. So I'll keep doing that, and then move on to another part of the harbour that I'm going to start improving. And now that night has fallen, I can see exactly what these lanterns look like, and it does really look really good. It does look quite a lot different from having, say, a glowstone or a torch on top of that. It really does give this place a lot of a harbour feel. You may note now that in my inventory I've got both the tag and the tag book. So once again, I am it. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to go tag someone. I did see Ties 205 around, but I did get him a lot recently, in previous seasons, so I don't think I'm going to try and get him. Might try and get Storm, who just logged in, and who's the one who slept. So, but, yeah, I'm going to continue working on what I've got plans. Now, my plans for today include building up this side of the harbour, probably putting a couple more buildings over here, building that bit up, a couple of cranes, maybe a little sawmill, and a couple of cranes up here. So all of those are going to be done in little bursts of what do you call it? Bits of time, not time lapses, but just lots of progress updates. That's the word I'm looking for. So lots of progress updates, and we'll eventually see what this looks like when it's complete. And we got our first progress update for this episode. We've got this new building over here, and I've just fallen into the water. As I was saying, we've got our first progress update here, and we've got what I'm planning to be both a tavern and a bit of a hotel. So we've got these things, which are something new I'm thinking of doing. So in here there's going to go a little water bottle to indicate what this thing primarily specializes in. Obviously I've still yet to build up all the walls and bits, but the ground floor is going to be all the fill of little tables. There'll be a big bar back here. And then there'll be a big stairway probably around here, so it will start here and curve round upwards, and then the top story will be where all the bedrooms go. So sailors would come in here to get some lodging. So this won't be the only lodging place, of course, but they'll come in here to stay overnight, or while they wait for another ship to come into port to sign on there. So again, this is just another thing that a port would have in it, and of course a tavern and a lot more lodging. More lodging are some of the things that are very important for a harbour town. So anyway, I'm going to keep building this up, and as you can also see that I've got some not clear glass, but I've got some grey stained glass, and that's because I'm thinking that this place wouldn't be washed very often. These glass wouldn't get washed very often, so it'd get pretty dirty. Now you may also know I'm once again using lanterns because I think it's a really good light source. So well done, Mei Yang, for putting that in. So once again, to extend this out, and so something like that will work. What I'm also thinking up here is a balcony up here, somewhere along here. I might need to get rid of this and put something else in, but that's for a future part of the future working. So once again, I'm going to continue on this and see and we'll come back when I've got a little bit more done. It's time for another progress update, and as you can see, this place is actually quite dark. I'm going to light it up with lanterns. However, you can see I've got the front of the tavern now done. We've got two bartenders with leather pants, their leather apron if you will, and we've got some bar stools up here so people could stand here and order what they wanted to drink. Now I'm going to take a short break from this and go ahead and try and tag someone. Now the only other person online is Storm13678, so I think I'm going to go try and tag there. So I'm going to not fall into the water. I'm going to go and find her, I believe it is, and show you exactly how I tag her. I think she's right there. So where's my book? I need to have both of these in my inventory. And let's just sneak up on her. Let's see, she's just over here. He's looking at her precious test. And there we go, she's now it. Well, Storm, I'm sure you'll enjoy your time as being it. Well, and welcome to the tag game. That's such a relief to no longer be it. I've been it like 8 or 9 times now, so I can finally pass it on to someone else. I think I'm going to try and tag a different person every time I'm tagged, so hopefully you don't see any repeat tags from me. Anyway, back to this thing. As you can see, I've still continued to put a nice birch ceiling on top of it, so this should be able to this will be my bedrooms area. So I'm going to have quite a few rooms up here, and they'll have a nice glass, probably a balcony up here, so you can watch any ships coming in from over here or any ships in port, so things like that. So I'm going to keep working on this now. And as we can see, this building is now fully roofed up. It's fully got all the walls on the outside finished up. If we come inside, we can see that this building has still got quite a little bit more work to do on the inside. A lot more light, a lot more rooms and such, but as far as the outside of the building is concerned, it's finished. I'm not going to work on the rest of the inside of this off camera, because I believe I need to work on some other things. Now, one thing I am planning to do as well is put a lighthouse just on this little, what do you call it? A little cape, I suppose, up here, just a little bit of a jutting out, so it'll be a big lighthouse that will shine into here. I'm also planning to put a little ship here, which I'm going to work on here, probably a little bit of a barge or some sort, and probably a little bit of a food supply house over here, and I can use all those carrots and potatoes and wheat and whatnot that I've got in my farming district over here. So, time to work on all those things. And what we have here is the first of the things that I'm going to build, a ship, or more correctly a barge. So this is going to be a log barge, so this area is going to be a high producing tree farm, as I've already got there, the dark oak, and what this barge is going to be doing is it's going to be taking the logs out for export. So one of the things that this place will be exporting, of course, is the logs and food. So moving on from that, the first thing I need to do is get rid of this drowned, is to start building out the length of this ship, and it's going to be a little bit complicated, but I'm thinking maybe 15 to 20 blocks, maybe even more than that. Let's see, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now this is actually my second attempt at this. Not like that. This is actually my second attempt at this. I made one earlier and it didn't really work out exactly the way I wanted. I was using just spruce and it turned out to be very bad. very bad indeed. So I've rebuilt it, and I think 20 long, as I've just built it, should be good enough. Let's have a look. Maybe a little bit more. But it's just a little bit of work in progress. I'm sort of freestyling this. So once again, as per usual, I'm going to come back when I've got more of an idea of what I'm doing, plus I've got a little bit more progress. And here we go. This barge or ship is now complete. It's not really the best looking ship in the world, and I probably should actually look at improving it a little bit, probably the shape, because you can see it tapers really sharply here, so I probably should make that a less sharp point. You can see I put a little bit of a house in here, so this is where the pilots would sit to guide the ship into the ocean, but I don't really want to do any more. I'm getting just a little bit, I'm a little bit over shipbuilding. Anyway, what I want to do now is just fill this thing with some logs, so something like that, and just like over there in the storage facility. I don't know what's going on with my words, but over in the storage facility I'm going to be just doing massive long lines of big trees, just like this. And I think since this one should be wide enough to do 2, I believe, I'll make it dark oak and acacia, I believe, because acacia is one that it's rather rare around here, I suppose, and it would be a nice one to export. Let's just continue making a little bit more, and there we go. I should make that even, actually, with the right kind of log. Anyway, so this thing is just about done now, and it's time for me to move on to the next part of this harbour improvement project. And before I move on, I should probably explain 2 things. One, I was planning to build a second barge going into the port, but this one can barely fit into the mouth of the harbour, and I was thinking of actually cutting this harbour and making it across go here, and I can still do that with this barge still being there. The other second thing is that this barge is actually quite low in the water. As you can see, it's got quite a little bit of room to move for the water line to go down, so it could be down here, and that's of course because the barge is fully loaded, or it's at least partially loaded, so the barge is sitting a lot more deeper in the water. So that's just a little bit of physics. Just the more stuff you put in the boat, it's going to go down a lot. It's going to be displacing a lot more water. Anyway, moving on from there. And my next project that I've got here is going to be a big lighthouse. So I'm here with Tice205. Hello.
Hello.
He's going to be helping me with this lighthouse. Now what we want it to be like is just going up, so not like that, so every time we shift around we'll go in a clockwise direction. So the pattern just shifts over by 1 block every time. So that was going to be white. There. And if I don't fall off, it'll be good, because this is going to get pretty high pretty quickly. That one is a white, actually.
Oh, my bad.
So if you just look on the inside, you go in an anti-clockwise direction, but every time you just shift over by 1 block to the right. So I'll give you some concrete powder, and we can get started on that quite quickly. And just a bit of a progress update. We've managed to get nearly two full layers done. You can see where the the spruce planks goes. That's where the next layer goes up. So we're just going to finish up this 3rd layer, and then we can start putting in the lights. Unfortunately, Tice, you have to go, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Which is a pity. So thank you very much for helping with this project. I know I've stuffed up quite a few times building up the spirals. So that's been much appreciated. Thank you very much.
That's okay.
And now that it's night, I can now show you the exact full proportions of my lighthouse. You can see I finished up the spirals, and it does look really good with the double spiral with the red going all the way around. So this one goes up, and it seems to go all the way up to around there. So I think that looks really, really good. Also, we've also put in the glowstone, so that's quite good, and it will be seen from quite far away. If we come over here to where this horse is, and where that zombie is, hopefully that the zombie doesn't see me, you can still see it. Of course, it's a little bit dull because of the rain, but it still works quite well. Now, one thing I do want to do as well with this lighthouse is just build it up just a little bit, because you can see that it's just plonked on top of the grass. It's just completely flat on top of the grass, and I just need to make sure this creeper doesn't blow it up. There we go. So one thing I will do is just walk around here, put a little bit more dirt around to give it a little bit more shape and whatnot. And I also need to make sure that I use sand on this side, which I don't have a lot of on me, which is a pity. But anyway, I'll keep doing that, and then I'll move on to my next project for this episode. Well, my next project for today's episode is another ship in this Docklands area, and what I'm thinking is just going to be a little tiny ship out here. So I'm just slowly building up the outer bit of it, the hull of the ship as it's called, I believe, and then I'm going to work on the rest of it. Now you may note that I'm building this mostly or entirely out of spruce at the moment, and that's just to give it a little bit of a change from the jungle and oak mixture that's this ship. Now this ship that I'm currently building isn't going to be anywhere near as big as this one over here, and I'm not quite sure what its purpose is. It might be just a small trading vessel, trading ship, yet maybe just one that carries food, or maybe one that's just import to get some food and fresh supplies and whatnot. So I'm going to continue building this up, and when it's a little bit more done, I'll give you another progress update. And we're back, and we can see that this ship is now just about done. The mast is in, the barriers are in. You can't actually get to the bottom deck yet, but I don't think I'm actually going to make this accessible from here. And so yeah, this ship I would say is done. Now of course it looks very different from the one over there. This one's supposed to be a much bigger warship or things like that, and this one's just supposed to be a small, very very small trading vessel, perhaps just a fishing junk. I might actually change the gangplank just a bit, like so you can walk in. So yeah, this is now done, and I reckon I can start moving on to another building over here. Now I'm planning to make this into a harbour town, so there'll be some food ships, food houses, food stores, that's it, and of course the building over there, the ship chandlery over there, and of course the ship. So just building up this entire area is the aim for the rest of today's episode. And as you can see, I've now constructed another 2 buildings in this town, or what's going to be the harbour town. This building's just going to be a bit of a market, so this is where ships would come across, ship captains or whatever, that would come along to buy their food, and over here is where they would buy their sails. This one I'm quite happy with, because over here we've got making use of the new block in the loom, and we've got the wool here, and of course we're going to have massive piles of sailcloth over here. So I'll just build that up a bit. There we go. So just a whole pile of sail here that this place would be turning out. And unfortunately I believe that's all I've got time for today. It is a bit of a shorter episode, but I think we've managed to get quite a bit done. So let's just recap as usual what we've managed to get done. And we'll start the tour of the new part of the base over here, and this is the first building that we built today. We managed to build a whole new, I suppose it's a bit of a tavern where sailors could come in and wait, and there'd be lodging upstairs, which I still haven't built, but there's quite a bit up here, quite a bit more room for me to do work in here. We've also managed to build a new ship, which is just a small one, just a small, roughly put together one. We've also got our first food market. I'm going to put some chests in here with some of the crops from like automatic crop farm. We've got a looms maker, a sail maker place that would sell cloth, and then the bits that I'm quite proud of in this episode, which is the log barge, which is now on its way out. You'll note that I've now put a bit of a water bucket, or bit of water here, and that's because this is actually a propeller driven one. It's a little bit more fancy than the sail ones I've got over here, but this ship is slowly making its way out through the headlands over here into the open ocean. And of course, probably the other thing I'm most proud of is the completed lighthouse. Now it really needs to be seen from a lot further away, but it's quite an achievement. It's quite a few blocks high, and I'll go over to this side again to show you the full glory of the lighthouse. And there we go. So it's quite tall. I think it's probably 20-30 blocks tall, and the light itself is quite high. It can be seen from quite a distance away, but unfortunately, and it's supposed to be guiding the ships in just to make sure that they don't of course crash, as a lighthouse is supposed to do. And of course that now finishes my tour for for this part of my new base. If you have liked this episode, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to keep watching out for the next one. Goodbye!